This is a long version. I thought it was closer to the bottom. I started that staircase walk a little too early. So I ran into this video. And this is something that's kind of been known for years now in schizo circles. Like, it's just something a lot of people have just kind of taken for, for fact. Very quickly, what happened was Chris Cornell and his wife were working on doing a film about runaway children. And in the film, it was going to focus a little bit on the human trafficking aspect of where some runaway children end up. And they weren't too happy about that. They, whoever you want to perceive them to be, I mean, it's a conglomerate of different evil forces that ultimately work for the evilest force. And he was murdered, in my opinion. Now they made it look like he was hung. Hey, little guy, how you doing? Oh, hello. That dog is great. Have a nice day. So I think too, like what they do when they murder traitors is they use the color red. And I think it was a red exercise band he was hung with, or he hung himself with, They never go into like how hard it is to hang yourself. Hanging yourself ain't easy. It's not easy. It takes a lot of pressure and a lot of force, and I mean, I don't know how anyone could think that was really what happened. But anyway, that's what the authorities determined it to be, a suicide by hanging. And then Chester Bennington put out a tweet alluding to the fact that he knew Chris had been murdered. I don't know if the tweet still exists. I've seen it in videos. I've seen people show it before. But I'll try to look for it. But anyway, he was hinting around about how because it was the first post of him saying he was after Chris's death, and he was like, oh, we lost this guy and that, and I'm sorry that Chris is dead. But and then he alluded to the fact that he was most likely murdered. And after that, I think that was like the last tweet he kind of did. I think he was dead soon after that. Now, again, murdered, in my opinion. Now, Chester Bennington is the son of, in my opinion, and many others, John Podesta, who is the Hillary Clinton campaign manager, and who, according to released emails, has a hot dog stand here in Honolulu. I had an artist depiction of that before, but I don't know what happened to it. Hold on a second, I got a whole thing happening here. I gotta go in the store anyway. I'll explain what's going on after. I started doing the video in my head and forgot I didn't turn the camera on. The reason I stopped back there and said hang on is when I was walking up that road there, it was just me alone. That woman that was in front of me, when she noticed I was there, she stopped and waited for me to catch up. This happens a lot with people. And she seemed a little out there, maybe on drugs. So I'm like, I'm not doing it. I don't want an interaction. I'm going to keep talking. So I kept talking on here, and I'm looking to my left and right. I'm like, where the fuck that lady go? She was like right behind me. Like, I don't know if she's trying to be like, I don't know, playful or something, or like, hey, I'm gonna, I'm putting your shoulder blades between my eye line. So I was like, I took that right to get away from her. And that's when I said, I'll be right back, Because people don't care. They don't understand, like, personal space. especially these fucking soulless fucking NPCs out here. There's tracks in the street. I showed this before. I've talked about this. It's settled science. This street here is a 3-tracker. Now, when they get on the track, they are not going to deviate from that track because it would take too much computing power for them to be able to make changes like that, to make pivots like that, so they just don't. That's why, like, you know, when I go into the mall early in the morning, it's just me in there, and then someone else comes in. Instead of going around me, they just stay right behind me. Like the other day, or it was yesterday, I'm coming up the street from that store I go to all the time, the old package store. And I was on a 2-arrow street, like a double one, over by where they're doing all the construction. And there's an Asian lady behind me. Now, she could have gone around me, but she wouldn't. And she's like, excuse me, is it okay if I go by you? And I'm like, yeah, you can go by me. And I moved out of the way, and I'm just like looking, I'm like, she could have just gone around me. But they get on that track. And they don't think about that. They're just like, I'm on my track, I'm going this way. Yeah, they can't like do that if you're 95% of the population out here and you have no soul and you're just here for the system, for the maintenance of the system. You don't have that much freedom to pivot. You know, you get on a track and you're on that track. This is becoming another episode of Schizo or Truman Show. When I'm over there, right, when I just came from here and I was talking about the lady and how NPCs go right behind your shoulder blades because they can't get off the track they're on. That dude that I walked by, or that when I don't know if you saw him when I passed him, but he was doing the same thing all the way up to Ross. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. I went into Ross, right? And I stop around the front. I was talking to a guy that works there. I know everybody there. And I go out to walk up to where the toy section is, and he's in the middle of the aisle walking real slow. So I'm like, it's this guy again. I'm like, you know, I don't know what his, I don't know if he's even aware that we're having this thing where he keeps showing up in my orbit. But, you know, I'm aware of it. And as he's walking, he's kind of slowing up and just walking really weird, like I can't pass him, right, because of the way he's walking, but then he's going incredibly slow. So finally I'm just like, I came up to almost beside him. I couldn't pass by him because of the way he was walking. He's kind of doing the Tokyo drift. I talked about that here because I first noticed it with Asian tourists, where there's only a couple of them, but they walk like this, so you can't really get around them. And if you try to you look like a fucking maniac. So he's doing that with me, and finally, hi, are you going upstairs? You know, I was thinking he was saying no, because he looked like he was going over the luggage, and he's like, yes. And I'm like, all right. And I just went in front of him, and almost killed myself trying to go up the stairs to get away from him, so I was like, doing a couple extra steps, you know. So then I bolt and head over to the toy aisle. So I'm looking at stuff, right? And guess who comes around the corner into the toy aisle? Him. I'm like, no, not doing this. So I go to the back where the action figures are, and he comes up the other side, and he sees me and just kind of turns around again. Like, he was like, oh, I don't know if he did it because he didn't want me to think he was following. I'm involved in this thing with this fucking guy now. Now, is that all coincidence? You know, I don't really do coincidence because a person like me can't afford to do coincidence. Because if you're wrong, you're going to get banned or something, or something's going to happen to you. So I take note of that kind of shit. Whenever I notice somebody keeps coming into my orbit, especially if they're like walking by and I'm standing still, that happens. They usually get out of the area. But yeah, I was locked in this thing with this guy. So at that point, I just turned and made a beeline right out of the store. I didn't look at anything else. I just left immediately. It could have all been coincidence, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different coincidences at once. But I guess I'm not going to take that chance, and I'm just going to get away from them. You know, it's affected. And that is it Schizo? Or is it Truman Show? Which was the, I think the name of the episode yesterday, Schizo or Truman. Because it's how it is. There's a Goldilocks reality here. Where what I'm experiencing will look crazy to other people who experience the same thing. Oh, I don't want to talk to gay homeless bro right now. I can't do it. I'm going to just say hi and keep rolling. He's going to try to follow me. I'm just going to keep going. So I'm going to pretend I'm talking about really something, you know, something really involved. And I'm trying to explain things. And, you know, I don't think people really understand it. Hey, what's up, man? Oh, no ciggies today, man. You know, so I try to look like I'm really serious and keyed into what I'm talking about. Usually that does not work. You know, when I do that. I used to do the old pretend to be on the phone thing if I knew I was coming through an area where I'm most likely to get, you know, hung up on something and I don't have time. I just put the phone in my ear. Or if I'm approaching a corner where there's a clearly there's a loose cannon on the corner, or there's some kind of street mutant or something that I know I'm going to have a problem with, or who's going to try to instigate some kind of problem, I pretend to be on the phone. Sometimes that doesn't work though. They don't give a shit because it's about them, you know, it's not about any other consideration. So they just look right by you and like fucking, you know, start talking to you. They don't look at the phone, you know. Thank you. That happens a lot. So yeah, there's a lot of crazy people here that do that stuff, and I always find myself involved in a couple of those. Now, is it because I'm fucking crazy? I think maybe it's a little bit of both. Maybe it's a little bit of both. You know, I mean, maybe it's because I am so schizo-leaning that I have the paranoia, and also people are a little bit like nosy or whatever, and they can't walk correctly. I don't fucking know. I'm just telling you what I'm experiencing here. You know, maybe it's you know, a little bit of both. I don't fucking know. Hey, yeah. That bird, I usually put my faith in I don't know if you saw him on the camera, but I saw him taking flight. And the best thing to do with birds, when they're flying around you or flying at you, is just keep doing what you're doing. If you're walking or you're standing, never duck, never jump, never do anything like that, because that's when you get hit. They know what they're fucking doing. You know, there's a thing here, you know, little kids like to do it. And adults with little kids' brains like to do it, where they see a big thing of birds and they'll come and they'll run through it, you know, and they go flying everywhere. That happens, and they'll all come flying out, like right where I am, and I'll just keep doing exactly what I'm doing, walking at the same speed, same height. I don't duck, I don't flinch, and they go right around me, right around my head. They are way better at flying than you are at walking. But that last bird over there, he had me worried for a second. I saw him trying to take flight, and I'm like, oh, just keep doing what you're doing. Don't. You kind of have to, it's not instinctual, right? Like, instinct is to do like a lot of the tourists do and scream and go into fetal position on the ground, like, ah! That's just, you know, instinctually, you want to do that. But, I don't know, I'm pigeon walker or something. I just fucking keep going, and they'd never hit. They act weird around me anyway. I've done videos where I point that out. It's like they think I'm a pussy or something, the birds, because they don't move for me at all. Usually, if you come walking through, birds, you know, they'll scatter or at least move. These guys will not move. I remember. In the video, I put the fucking camera on and I'm like, all right, dude, I'm gonna walk through here now. Can you just give me a little bit of room? And the bird took like 4 steps. Like, all right, this is enough. Like, it took 4 fucking steps. I was like, thanks, man. They're just not shook by me at all. I mean, I'm harmless to them, I guess. I don't know. I am. No, I'm not gonna hurt the birds, but other people come walking through there and they definitely get the fuck out of the way. They don't really stepped on. I guess they like must pick up something from me. Like I'm not gonna like step on them. If I could have taken a, I didn't see that until the last minute. Otherwise, I would have walked way out there. I like to make it very obvious and theatrical, you know, because that's the kind of guy I am. I wasn't always that kind of guy. I've been made that kind of guy by the world. Actually, you know, only the world post Obama, really. The world post Obama. Before that, it was so different. Yeah, a lot of people were so different before Obama. They hadn't been activated. You know, the spells hadn't been cast. That was a golem activation, spell casting on Obama's part. All presidents do it though. It's not like he's any sort of mystical black wizard. Trump, everybody, they're all trained from the time they were a kid. Trump was trained by the Jesuits, Jesuit Freemason, who was apparently 33rd degree. You can get higher degrees than that, I guess. I didn't know that till recently. I was watching some Scottish guy in an interview, which, that's my sources, a Scottish guy in an interview. And I think he was a bit of a grifter and a tall tale teller, but he did say there are places in Europe you can get higher levels of masonry, and I looked into it and you can. But they're only recognized by certain lodges. It's kind of weird, but I don't know how much more truth you get at that point. And with stuff like living in the information age, I've heard just about everything they teach them. You could find all the information. Same thing with Scientology. It ruined Scientology because all these hidden kept secrets, they're all on the internet now. You don't have to pay the $500,000 and give your house away and most of your blood and your liver and your left testicle and get yourself down to being a brain in a chair to find out the knowledge. That's just, I think Scientology is like, you give them everything and your torso with one arm and you get the secret. What are you going to do with it now? What are you going to do with it? Kind of funny. I mean, obviously they don't take your body parts. It might as well. You know, you're fucked in there. Cults are really a weird thing, man. I was watching a show on the Cult of Jesus Freaks and how they operated. And all these fucking Christian cults, it's always led by Jews. You know? And I swear it's to make Christianity look bad. Because they always do all this evil shit, and he was too. He was raping young girls under the guise of having child brides. And it's always them. It's always them. And then people say, oh, there's Pedialites in the Catholic Church. Yeah, have you seen the early life on these guys? Now, I know there are all kinds of different guys that do this, because I had a guy in my family that was that kind of thing, and he wasn't Jewish, so when I was a kid, I'd be like, he's moving again, because I always move him around. We have to go visit him in these different places. Only years later did I find out, you know, why they were moving him around. That's fucking wild, though. It's almost like what it's saying to their people is, we don't have a problem with what you're doing. It's just to take the heat off you, we got to move you over here. But that is that's a story I don't have the time to get into right now as I'm about to walk into the house. But anyway, thanks for dropping in. Hope to see you guys soon. If you have anything to add to this or similar stories or whatever, whether it's it is Schizo or Truman, you know, let me know. Until next time, don't blame the teacher. Blame the school.